So, hi, folks. Hello once again, and you're very welcome along to another program, to another edition of Down Your Way. I'm here in South of the County this week. I'm in Care, Donald McCarthy, native of Castle Gregory in County Kerry, living in Tipperary for the past 50 years. It's a real pleasure to be in your kitchen.
Thank you very much. You're more than welcome, Eamon. And I want to, first of all, before we start it all, congratulate you on the wonderful, wonderful work you've done for the last 30 years in Tipperary. It's been fantastic.
Absolutely. Indeed. Well, it's always nice to meet you two over the years, and a real pleasure. We're going to open the program with a piece of music, and you're going to sing for me tonight on the program as well as talk to me.
Okay, I will. I'm going to have a go at Working Man.
Okay, beautiful.
It's a working man I am, and I've been down underground, and I swear to God, if I ever see the sun, or for any length of time, I can hold it in my mind, I never again will go down underground. At the age of 16 years, he quarreled with his peers, who vowed there'd never be another one. In the dark recess of the mines, where you age before your time, and the coal dust lies heavy on your lungs. Woo! It's a working man I am, and I've been down underground, and I swear to God, if I ever see the sun, or for any length of time, I can hold it in my mind, I never again will go down underground. At the age of 64, he will greet you at the door, and he will gently take you by the hand through the dark recess of the mine. He will take you back in time and tell you of the hardships that were had. It's a working man I am, and I've been down underground, and I swear to God, if I ever see the sun, or for any length of time, I can hold it in my mind, I never again will go down underground. Woo!
Oh, absolutely beautiful. My first time recording that, probably more than less for the most part of live here in Care this evening. Donald, Happy New Year to you for the outset.
Many happy returns, Eamon, and look, we hope it'll be a better year than the one gone by, although we had a great year in Tipperary and in Kerry, so it was a great year all round.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and of course, look, we met first all those years back, probably 25, 30 years ago. We were following the Renbys.
We were. I'm married to, my wife's name is Lucy Carney from Littleton, and I was very good friends with Willie Carney. Unfortunately, he passed away. And Willie and another very strong or very big Littleton man, Eamon Marr, came down to West Kerry, to Castle Gregory, where I live, and it was the Rans Day, Lawn Droline, as we call it down there. And they saw the Rans going around Castle Gregory, first of all, and it was actually on a Sunday. And then there's a tradition in Dingle. Dingle is the most famous part of the country for the Rans. There's a tradition in Dingle that they don't go out in the Ran on a Sunday. So on the Monday, we went back to Dingle. And of course, the Rans were in full flow at that time. And Willie and Eamon were looking, especially Willie. And Willie said to me, he said, "You know what?" He said, "Next year, we'll organise a Ran in Littleton. Won't it be great?" And the next year we did organise a Ran in Littleton, and Willie organised it, and I helped out. And we had an absolutely terrific. We had it for 3 or 4 years, and Willie was one of the characteristics of the Rans in West Kerry is that they have a white horse, and I'm sure I know lots of people from Tipperary go down to England for the Ran, and they have a white horse. And Willie said to me, he said, "For the next year, we'll have to have the white horse." And he said, "We'll bring the white horse to Tipperary." He said, "Would you be able to get ahead for the white horse?" And I said I would, and but unfortunately, we never got around to it.
The Ran boys could have probably died down for the most part.
Oh, they have died down. Well, I'd say this year they have died down for the most part, but I just looking at the papers and the Rans in Dingle this year, of course, it was mighty celebrating in Dingle this year because they were Munster football champions as well, and it gave a huge impetus to the Rans there. They were absolutely fantastic. They have five major Rans in Dingle, huge Rans. Maybe some of them have over 100 people going around.
So it's the home of the Ran boys.
Oh, it's the home of the Ran boys. Now there are places in Limerick and around the country where they're very good as well, but Dingle is really the mecca of the Ran boys.
Yeah, and of course the Dingle and football goes well together.
Well, yes, they're having a. I suppose some people might say they're having a lucky year, but I actually follow Dingle, and I'd be quite associated with the Dingle team, and I know a lot of the players, and they're a very tough crowd to put away, and they're actually, they're a little bit like our own team here, Upper Church Dunban. They fight to the finish, and they're country lads, and as they say in Dingle that they're a little bit wild, and that they're hard to get rid of, and I suppose that's really. You could say they were lucky against Finbars and maybe lucky last Sunday as well, but
okay, you're a music man for the most part. You're saying the Working Man, absolute beautiful song. What tempted you to sing that song?
Well, I took up. I always had a huge interest in American country music, and then recently, in the past 4 or 5 years, I started playing the guitar, and I always loved singing. And there's a singing circle here in Clare that we meet, and there's quite a number of people from Tip come here. And I love singing. I don't know if I'm any good at it or not, but I love singing anyway. But there's a great tradition of singing in my parish, and yeah.
Oh yeah, look at the story. I know you're going to sing a few more songs for us as evening progresses and stuff like that. That singing circle, how well is it doing here in Clare?
It's doing fantastic. We get great. We get a great crowd. Usually there's about 30 to 40 people, and it's in the Hill Bar here in Clare on a Tuesday night, and we're starting off again in February. And we get a lot of people down from Thurles and from Lochmore. They're great. We call them the Lochmore Choir. But it's great. I think it's great, and it's very well supported, and we have a fine big room and all that we get in the Hill Bar.
We're going to take our very first break here. We're here in Clare with Donald McCarthy. We're back just after these. Indeed, you're very welcome back to Down Your Way. Our very special guest is Donald McCarthy, a native of County Kerry, living here in Tipperary for the past 50 years. And you took up teaching as a profession, Donald.
I did. I grew up, of course, in West Kerry, and of course it was a different era altogether. And I went to St. Pat's in Dublin in 1969, and I spent 5 years then after that teaching in Dublin in a beautiful school out in Bluebell. It was called Our Lady of the Wayside National School in Bluebell, in Inchicore. And while we were there were several of us there. We did we did a degree in UCD at night, and but I really enjoyed my time in Inchicore, and I found the Dublin people fantastic, and the kids were fantastic.
I'm going to take you back to your grown-up years in Kerry. How many of you were in the family?
There were 5 of us in the family, 3 sisters and my brother. My brother actually went to America, and 2 of my sisters took up nursing, and my other sister took up teaching, secondary teaching, and then I came along. But
you went to the national school, of course.
We went to the local national school, and it was a great school. The great school. The teacher was the principal was very into music. I suppose that's when the singing started, and he was a real expert on the music, and he encouraged us all to sing, and which was different times that time. There was corporal punishment and all that kind of thing, although I don't remember getting a lot of it, but it was there, and but we had a great time there, and sure, things were different that time. He was a great man for God. Today he'd be in trouble, but he has cut turf, and we used to love when the turf would arrive to his house, because he'd take 5 or 6 of the boys down to the house to throw in the turf, and he also used to grow spuds and vegetables and onions, and when the weeds would start coming on, maybe at about 1 o'clock someday, he'd say to us, lads, could I have a few volunteers to go down and do a bit of weeding down and weeding the onions? And do you know, we walked to school, and I remember my neighbours, they never wore shoes in May and June. They just went to school on their bare feet. But they were very happy times. We did there was a lot of vegetables growing in my parish that time, especially carrots. And on our way home from school, you can be absolutely guaranteed when the carrots came into bloom, we'd go into the field and pick up a few carrots, and we'd spend our time walking home eating the carrots. And it was great. It was a great life.
Of course, yeah, and the grown-up years, and the great stories that was told as well.
There were, and actually, we I often think of it today, like it's so different. Life is so different today, and I obviously I'm a big J man. But every Sunday we used to get together, and go down to the local, go down to the beach, and we'd have a match every Sunday, and oftentimes there was a lot of disagreement down there, because there was no such thing as a referee or anything. But every Sunday, for the whole year long, we'd go down and organise our own match, and we'd have matches in our own farm as well. And of course, there were an awful lot of great memories. Christmas was a great time, and there was some great. I remember we were one of the few houses in the area that had a radio. We got a radio from America, from relations in America, and that time there was a kind of a tradition with the older people. They'd go down to mass and they'd have a few pints, and then on their way home, hopefully Kerry would be playing, and they'd call into my house. And in fairness to my mother, she used to have a few bottles inside for the lads, and they'd all come in. They'd be sitting on the windows would be opened, and the radio would be on the window. And I was actually given the job to be in charge of the radio, and God forbid anyone that would touch the radio, they'd be worried. I was the only one that could touch the radio, because oftentimes the reception would go, but actually that's where I started singing, because there was one particular man up the road, and he loved singing, and when the match would be over, especially if Kerry won the match, he'd ask me to sing a song, and and then he'd go home. And but life was so different that time,
Micheál O'Hare, I suppose, was the man on the box that time.
Oh, Micheál O'Hare was the man in the box that time. It was heaven, and the stories were fantastic, and like
And so you'd all kind of sit around the fire rather than listen to the radio, was it?
They'd be, if the weather was fine, it would be put on the sill of the window, and the window would be opened, and some of the lads would be outside, and some of them would be inside, and then
They'd be all shouting.
They'd be all shouting, oh, they would. And there'd be absolute silence during the match, like, and there'd be plenty expletives and everything going on. But they when the match would be over, they'd all be shouting. They often would sing a song themselves or dance a half set or something on their way home after the match. So it was beautiful.
Of course, the other side of it is that part of County Kerry very much an Irish-speaking area.
Oh, it was, yeah. There was, and I have a great interest in the Irish language myself. Tá sé is úntaigh an tanga a sppraig agus a grís agus a curisiúr. Agus tá alán daoine tibredáin atá sim búr across the Gaeilge freisin. But we love the language, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Indeed, I love the sound. Listen, can you pick up that guitar again and sing the tip song?
I'm going to sing it, the Jug of Punch. Now, they reckon that song was written in Tipperary. Nobody knows who wrote it. But Tommy Macon heard it being sung in some part of Tipperary, and he was the man that revived it. One pleasant evening in the month of June, as I was sitting with my glass and spoon, a small bird sat on an ivy bunch, and the song he sang was the Jug of Punch. Tooraloo-raloo, tooraloo-ralay, tooraloo-raloo, tooraloo-ralay. A small bird sat on an ivy bunch, and the song he sang was the Jug of Punch. What more diversion can a man desire than to sit him down by an alehouse fire? Upon his knee a pretty wench, and on the table a jug of punch. Tooraloo-raloo, tooraloo-ralay, tooraloo-raloo, tooraloo-ralay. Upon his knee a pretty wench, and on the table a jug of punch. Let the doctors come with all their art, they'll make no impression upon my heart. Even a cripple forgets his hunch when he's snug outside of a jug of punch. Tooraloo-raloo, tooraloo-ralay, tooraloo-raloo, tooraloo-ralay. Even a cripple forgets his hunch when he's snug outside of a jug of punch. And if I get drunk, well, the money's me own, and if they don't like me, they can leave me alone. I'll tune me fiddle and rosin me bowl, and I'll be welcome wherever I go. Tooraloo-raloo, tooraloo-ralay, tooraloo-raloo, tooraloo-ralay. I'll tune me fiddle and rosin me bowl, and I'll be welcome wherever I go. Now the sad verse. And when I'm dead and in my grave, no costly tombstone will I have. Just lay me down in my native peat, with a jug of punch at my head and feet. Tooraloo-raloo, 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 tooraloo-raloo. Just lay me down in my native peat with a jug of punch at my head and feet. Woo!
Oh, brilliant. Donald McCarthy there joining us on Down Your Way. We're going to take another break. I'll be back in care just after these. Indeed, you're very welcome back to Down Your Way. Wasn't he absolutely fantastic? I'm with Donald McCarthy here in Care. Absolutely, Jug of Punch, a song that I love so well. And here he was, here in front of me. And he's singing it absolutely so brilliant. What a gent. Anyway, we're back to the programme for the most part. Donald, you came to Ballyluby.
I did. I started off, as I said, in Our Lady of the Wayside in Dublin, and then I spent 1 year teaching in St. Patrick's in Limerick. And I met my wife in Dublin, Lucy Carney, and we came back. We decided to, principalship came up in Ballyluby, and I applied for that. And actually, I was planning to go to Kerry from Tipperary, because my mother was living in Kerry at the time, and she was living on her own, and we had a small bit of land, and my plan was to go down to Kerry, anyway, I really enjoyed the teaching in Ballyluby. It was a great, and working in Tipperary, and I got to straight away when I came to Tipperary. Well, I was always into the GA, and as I said a while ago, and I got into the hurling, and I actually fell completely in love with the hurling in Tipperary, even though I was a man that was brought up in football, and it was such a fantastic. I've had a absolutely unbelievable life working here in Tipperary, and it was a great move for me to move to Tipperary. The people of Tipperary made me so welcome, and I got so much pleasure and excitement and satisfaction out of the work here in Tipperary. And as I was, the two things in my life that I loved promoting the GA, and in the teaching line, then I was always into the Gaeilge, trying to chun Gaeilge chun siúl agus and of course the maths. That was my other thing. But I loved the time.
Okay, we'll come to the hurling and to the college, over the schools and all of that in a bit. About Ballyluby and the story of Ballyluby, and great story there, isn't there?
Oh, there's a great story there. Yeah, there's a great story, and I have to say I had a great staff with me, and I was always very lucky with the staff I had. We had a great staff, and we worked very hard, and in my whole career in teaching in Ballyluby, I hardly missed a day in the whole time. And I loved the job there, and I loved the children, and I went, even like every day I went into school with a smile on my face, which was great. But the sport was the real thing that kept me going, because I loved to see the kids and the hurling. I also did, while I was there, I set up a camogie club called, and people laughed at the name, but there was a football club there already called Brian Bruce, and then we decided to call the camogie club the same name, and they're now very successful. In fact, actually, this very year, 2025, they won the Munster Junior A final, and they're Munster Junior A champions after myself and the two other brilliant ladies, Mary Condon and Eileen Miles. They helped me out. But I love being involved in the camogie, and I of course did a lot of coaching of under 40s and under 16s and of the minor camogie teams in Tip, and I love the coaching. But I enjoyed every minute of my time working with the Tipperary children.
Then, of course, you had the administration in as well for your own part. You had to deal with the county board and all of that.
Oh, I did, and I was on the South board. I was vice chairman of the South board for 5 years, And I was on the county board, and I was Tipperary coaching rep on the Munster Council. And I also loved the coaching. I was on the coaching committee for years, and I had a great time in that, and I loved doing the coaching courses, and coached all over the county. And actually,
a lot of your time is gone, of course. Then it's spare time.
well, it was all gone really, and then I coached teams. Someone said to me once, "Did you coach every hurling team in South Tipperary?" Of course, a good few of them. Father Sheehy's, Ballyluby, Rockwell Rovers, Rose Green, and of course I won the Munster. Well, when I was coaching Mile Rovers, I spent 5 or 6 years coaching Mile Rovers. We won the Munster Junior Hurling, got to the All Ireland final, and we were only beaten by 2 points, and very unfortunate. But I think we were the last tip team to win a Munster championship. And of course I was with Ballybacon Grange, and we won several South championships. I hope I haven't left out with St Mary's as well.
Yeah. So coaching, when you're going to a new club and address the player for the first time, what are you going to say to him?
That's a good question now. Well, I suppose you just it's a very interesting occupation to be a good coach, and I'm not saying I was a good coach or anything, but I always enjoy dealing with players and trying to get the best out of them. So I was never a dictator. We always worked together, and I tried to motivate. Motivation was my biggest thing. I suppose when you go in first to a club, you have to show them that you have a good knowledge of the game, number one, and that. But motivation, I think, and to get players to buy into the club and work together, and that's why this year I went to several of the Upper Church Drum Band matches, and like I got so much satisfaction out of watching them play. And when you get the best out of a team, I've had some great wins in my time, and great victories and county championships in underage and camogie and everything. It's brilliant.
So the speeches at half time, were they inspirational? Were they?
Well, there's a great discussion going on at the moment about the halftime speeches. They were there's the same thing again, like to try and be technical about the game and try and show some players maybe they should do something better. It's not easy. The same speech, I was never into big speeches because the same speech doesn't work for everybody. And I've been very fortunate in my life. I got very good friends with 2 great Tipperary hurlers, and I'm going to mention their names now. They'll ken me: Tygo O'Connor and Lynn Gaynor, and like 2 mighty famous Tipperary men, and I learned a lot from them, and coaching with them and talking to them, and we often discussed the halftime or the pre-match talk. It doesn't work for every player, and I fully realise that. So I think the personal touch is the more important thing, and to just try and the players are treated well and respected. That's hugely important.
Is it important? So that's part of your life that you have really enjoyed.
I have really enjoyed, and in later years then I was doing the referee assessing, and I'm still doing it in Tipperary. But the GA and the Tipperary GA people and the general public in Tipperary, I'm still involved in the GA. I presented more or less all the trophies in the Cumann Munster finals, and I was involved in Cumann Munster all my life. I really loved being involved with the kids and getting the children started in the game. I think the school and the club should work together the whole time. I think that's the secret. And I'm involved with the executive in my own club down in West Kerry, and it's very important at the school, and I present the trophies, and I do the referee assessing. I enjoy it now, and I realise refereeing is a very difficult job. I'd go so far as to say Tipperary is very well served by its referees, even though people give out about them the whole time, I suppose. But it's overall, Tipperary has a great group of referees.
How do you assess a referee in 2 words type of thing?
Well, there's a whole lot of aspects, like fitness is one thing, knowledge of the rules, that he's very fair in the way he applies the rules, and signals and the way he treats the players, and if a player is injured, and that he shows respect to the players, and as I said, he's the way he applies in the rules.
What about the players may not show him the greatest of respect?
Well, I think I'll tell you something now. I was down in Clare in the Armada, and I met that great Tipperary man, Donny Nealon, there last about 2 months ago. And, we were talking about refereeing, and he told me that he refereed. I might be wrong in this now, but he refereed 17 Tipperary hurling finals. And I think he told me he refereed 4 or 5 National League finals. He never refereed the All-Ireland final. I suppose Tipperary in most of them maybe. But the one thing he said to me, and I agree with him completely, I said to him, looking back at it now, I said, what was the most important thing to you? He said, fitness. He said, if a referee is up at the play, and do you know what? From all the assessing I've done, it's the most important thing. He said, if the referee is up at the play and makes a call, it's very hard to disagree with it. And that's what Donny said to me.
Very good advice indeed as well. Donald McCarthy is my special guest. We're going to take another break, and we're back with the final part of Down Your Way from Care, just after these. You're very welcome back to the final part of Down Your Way. Donald McCarthy is a very special guest this week. Donald, you have a special piece for us. You're going to do it.
I have. I mentioned earlier on that I spent my first teaching years in Our Lady of the Wayside National School in Dublin, and there were some very famous past pupils in that school. One of them was Pete St. John, and that's the song I'm going to sing in a minute. But also in my class were relations of the Dublin City Ramblers and the Wolf Tones, and it wasn't a very big school, but it was a great school, and the people were wonderful, and so I'm going to sing Pete St. John's tune, The Ferryman, in remembrance of Pete St. John.
In your own time.
The little boats are gone from the breast of Anna Liffey. The ferryman is stranded on the quay. Sure, the Dublin docks is dying, and the way of life is gone. And Molly, it was part of you and me. Where the strawberry beds sweep down to the Liffey, you kissed away the worries from my brow. I love you well today, and I love you more tomorrow. If you ever love me, Molly, love me now. 'Twas the only job I knew. It was hard but never lonely. The Liffey ferry made a man of me. And it's gone without a whisper, and forgotten even now. And sure it's over, Molly, can't you see? Where the strawberry beds sweep down to the Liffey, you kissed away the worries from my brow. I love you well today, and I love you more tomorrow. If you ever love me, Molly, love me now. Well, now I'll tend the yard, and I'll spend me days in talking, and I'll hear them whisper, Charlie's on the dole. But Molly, we're still living, and darling, we're still young, and that river never owned me heart and soul. Where the strawberry beds sweep down to the Liffey, you kissed away the worries from my brow. I love you well today, and I love you more tomorrow. If you ever love me, Molly, love me now. Where the strawberry beds sweep down to the Liffey, you kissed away the worries from my brow. I love you well today, and I love you more tomorrow. If you ever love me, Molly, love me now.
Oh, absolutely lovely. The great Pete St. John, what an entertainer.
What an entertainer, and he also, he was a great writer. He wrote The Fields of Athenry and Dublin and the Rare Old Times. He was a great man. And there still is a great tradition of Irish ballads, I suppose we'd say, in Dublin.
You're into the traditions of the history and story, and just before we came on air, you told me that you have a club here.
I have a club here in the house. I have a book club, and we meet once a month, and it's absolutely terrific. I suppose I was going to say unfortunately, but maybe not. But it's all men, and we meet once a month, and we have our own kind of rules, and we have some great discussions on history, modern history, and past history, and the Irish abroad, and going back over the ages, and we read all sorts of books. And everybody reads our main difference from an ordinary book club. We have our own rules. You read your own book, and if you read a very good book, you come in and give a bit of a talk on the book. But I find that it's absolutely wonderful. The last Thursday of every month.
We were down at the launch of Noel's book.
No. And I read the book. Just it's fair. There's a great compliment to Noel, and he did a great job, and a very interesting book, and he put a lot of work into it, and it's great to see we'd say an ordinary person like that getting down and having. He always had an interest in books, and I'm a very good friend of Noel's, and when I was ill here for a while, he was really fantastic to me.
Talk to me briefly about your health.
My health, yeah, thank you, Eamon. Yeah, I've had two big scars, I suppose, or scares. The first one was my leg, and I'm glad you asked me that, because I'm internally indebted to Kevin Halley, Andy Ryan, and Owen Morrissey, and Dinny Marr. I was actually you could guess now where I was, and I got a pain in my leg at a coaching meeting in Thurles, and my leg stiffened up, and it transpired that I had a blocked artery in my leg. So I was whipped off down to Clonmel, first of all, in the ambulance, and then they took great care of me. And I'm internally indebted to them for the way they got me off. And that night, I was transferred to the Art Keen, and I was very lucky. I came across a great man, Professor Cross. 13 hours he spent working on my leg. I'm laughing now because I won't say his nickname. No, that'd be unfair to him. But I spent 13 hours saving my leg. Now I was very, I almost, I knocked at the pearly gates, and I'd say on 2 occasions in recovery at that time, and your man told me to get out of there quick.
You sound and feel good today.
I feel very good today. I had a quadruple bypass as well, just to make sure I'm right. But that was in Blackrock Clinic. But no, I'm very happy, and I just want to say, we're coming to the end. I just want to say, very important to me, to thank all the Tipperary people, male and female, and all the teachers that I've met in Tipperary for my life here. They have made my life so fulfilling, and I'm so happy to have spent my life living in Tipperary and teaching in Tipperary. And I'll mention one more man before I finish. Well, I have several I could mention, but I want to, the man who really introduced me to hurling and got me coaching in the hurling was Paddy Butler, and from Drum, and he's been a lifelong friend of mine. But I want to thank. I mean, I feel so privileged to be able to live here in Tipperary among such wonderful people, as I said, male and female, and all the teachers who've been so kind to me from my time in Cumann School. And I just want to sincerely, this gives me a great opportunity to sincerely thank them. And I'm very proud to be able to promote hurling in Tipperary and promote the Irish culture in Tipperary.
My pleasure to be here tonight in your house. It's a real pleasure. Many thanks. Every success into the future as well. I'm going to ask you to sing a verse of Shleve Navan to finish us off.
Alone, all alone, by the wave was strand, and alone in the crowded hall. The hall it is gay, and the ways they are grand, but my heart is not here at all. It flies far away by night and by day, to the times and the joys that are gone. But I never will forget the sweet maiden I met in the valley near Shleve Navan.